here's a powerful framework I've been thinking about a lot these past few weeks. And that is pretty much what can make you go from struggling or beginning to profitable in trading. Okay, there's a lot of steps you have to take then to become more successful over time. But when you start, just do what we'll talk about today. Those are three steps, two simple parts, kind of before, during, and after you trade. And they're going to work pretty well. Okay, this is going to make a big difference. So I want to share those with you, and I've took some note because it's pretty complex. And I feel like there's a lot we can forget sometimes. And even myself, I need to go back and do some things I forget to do sometimes. Okay, so I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Probably not. But no one's perfect. So we'll just go focus on that. And the very first thing I want to talk about is the planning part. Okay, this is the very first thing to everything. And there's this quote by, I think it's Lincoln who said that if you were to have like 6 hours to cut down a tree, you would probably spend like 4 hours planning or like sharpening the axe, and the other hour cutting the stuff, right? And that's what you should think about. So don't focus on like just doing the work and trading all the time. Focus on planning first. And here there's a couple of things you have to think about. Okay. And the first thing is your weekend analysis. What you do on the weekend. Things that you do before you start to trade. Okay. What about creating a plan that you can trade? What about your routine? I've seen a big difference with the routine you have in the morning that most people don't even think about. They think that they can just show up, trade whenever they want to trade. But if they don't have the right routine first, the results suffer and they don't have the result they want. And then they wonder why they're not happy, they're not excited about the day because their morning routine sucks. It's really bad. Okay? And that's what you want to start with, of course. I've seen just a big difference with myself like recently. Okay, so here's a quick insight. So I used to just travel and stay in hotels that are like nice and stuff and that were cool. But I didn't really think about like anything else. Okay, I wanted to have like a nice bed, a cool area and stuff. The rest was fine. And then recently when I came back here to Montreal, I have kind of the chance to work out more. So in the morning I have a bike here in my house where I can kind of work out and stuff. And I've seen such a big difference with how much I'm more excited and more how much like just happy I am in the day throughout the day and more excited, more with more energy. And so that means that now when I travel, I definitely want to have a gym every time. Like every time I travel, because that's gonna keep me top notch and I know it'll be better over time. Okay, so really important thing to be able to have your morning routine with could include exercise or not, it's up to you. You decide what you want to have. But for me now it's gonna be a must. Okay, and that's something I'll include in my routine when I travel. I'm leaving, as I said, in like 2 days for Bangkok, and I just pick hotels with like big gyms and stuff for all the time because it's for me it's worth it. It's a good investment. Okay. The other thing you can think about is having a game plan for your day. This is like some people will do like a to-do list when they start to work. I see a game plan as like the same thing, right? Instead of having a to-do list, it's like it's your game plan of I'll do this, I'll work on this. This is my goal for the day. If I achieve this today, like everything's good, and I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be like it's pretty much gonna be a success for the day. Okay, if you can come in with that mindset of like I plan this. If I do this, it's a success. You're much more likely to do it, right? As opposed to people that just expect that things will work fine and don't have anything planned out, right? That's a lot of people. But you want to plan first, and there's a lot of things we could talk about. Morning routine, I think it's pretty wide. Weekend analysis, pretty wide. Trading plan is pretty wide as well. But I want to go to the second thing. The second thing is about execution. Okay, some people could plan, but when it comes to executing what they have to trade, they mess up. And I just met with a guy a couple of days ago that was saying that he knew what to do when he traded, but he couldn't do it. Okay, he couldn't force himself to do the right thing. And we'll talk about that more in a few weeks, I feel, with Mandy when she comes back on the channel. Mandy is a psychologist and really good at change psychology. But that has to do with like planning, scanning. Okay, and if you can plan those things, put them in order on a checklist. I know some people thrive really well when they get to do a checklist, when they get to have a step-by-step plan of what they're going to do. Okay, that's a big step for a lot of people. So if you can do this, like what you'll do during your day, then you just execute. It's like you show up, everything's planned out. You just do things one after the other. If you do this, then there's no way to think and to kind of mess up your activities, and you find out what produces results for you. What are the things that you do on a daily basis? Could be like looking at the chart at these times. Could be talking to someone at this time. talking to traders, whatever, what are the things that produce the best results? And what are the things that can make you more likely to succeed over time? Okay, those are big. And I really like this quote by, this is, I think, Jackson Brown. He said, the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. All right, so if you want to be showing up at your best tomorrow, you better work on being your best today. Not like just saying, "Oh, I'll do better tomorrow," or "I'll be just fine tomorrow if I don't do if I don't do it today." Keep in mind that the things you don't do today are forcing you to do things wrong tomorrow. Okay, that's a big step, and people do this wrong sometimes. Now, what about if you have to? For me, that has a lot to do with reviewing my algos now. So if I don't review my algos, if I say, "Well, I'll do it tomorrow," and I forget for a day, well, guess what? Tomorrow I might not do it, okay? And the day after I might not even do it again. Or I might forget one day and then I miss a trade and then I feel bad the next day. So if you do things all the time the same, you're more likely to see results, okay? That's just a fact. That goes for everything. For some people, it's going to be turning on enough algos or doing research, okay? You want to kind of block out your days between parts and find out what works best for you. Now the question is, how do you find out what is the best thing for you to do now? Well, that's exactly what your mentor is coming into play, right? Ask your mentor. He's going to tell you, I do this, I do that. I focus on this, focus on that. And you should do the same. Don't try to reinvent the routines and the things you do. Don't try to kind of be smarter than most people by doing things most people don't do on a daily basis, or most of the profitable traders don't do, because those are useless. They won't get any result. Okay, you do what your mentor tells you to do, and you're going to be getting results pretty fast, okay? So any question on this, guys, can comment below in the chat. I'm not sure I'm seeing the chat on time this time, but we'll see. The other thing now has to do with the review. Okay, so you've done your execution, you've been able to trade. Now this is where the review comes into play. And I just sent an email yesterday or 2 days ago about that. For a very long time, I've been saying, don't review your stats too often. Like, review them every month, maybe every quarter, if you want. But because it could basically affect your mindset, okay? And I realized, I was thinking back a couple of days ago, and I realized, for me, that was the opposite, okay? I thrive the best when I look at my stats often, like every week, like every Sunday. Okay, for one reason, because of the fact that you have a much faster feedback loop. Meaning that if you take a bad trade 1 week, then you see it on Sundays, and you don't want to take it again the next week after. Okay, so try to kind of review often, review what you do, and there's a bunch of ways you could do this with the trading journal, a paper journal if you want, where you write down your thoughts, things you've been working on, things that didn't go well, things that might go well in the future, and those are all things that really help. Okay, all things that make it possible for you to have a feedback loop where you do one thing, you go back and see if it worked best the next week. Okay, and that's been really huge for me. So other than that, what about trading journal, a team with your trader team? Okay, so you meet with other traders on a weekly, monthly basis if you want. What about try to ask yourself, how am I now compared to my goals, and what is the one thing I can do now to reach my goal faster? Okay, to be able to reach my goal in an easier manner. And that's a question I've been asking myself a lot, and I always find like 1 or 2 things, or even like 5 to 10, but I always that makes the most sense, and that just makes a huge difference. Okay, and then what about what about looking at the pairs that are producing the most results? Okay, so the best pairs in your arsenal, which ones are most profitable, which ones are not, and cut the pairs. I've seen a big difference for myself with pairs that I trade. Some pairs are not profitable, and then the time at which I trade the pair. Okay, sometimes I'm not profitable. You can cut those by reviewing them, of course, and you are suddenly making some good money just from that. Okay, or what about like, this is not about only ranking yourself, because some people say rank yourself every week or put yourself a score of like 1 to 10, and that's good, but you can feel down with that sometimes, right? So you might not feel super good. So instead of ranking yourself and putting a note for yourself, just try to think about how you can improve, what improvement you have, and what you've done well, what you've done not too well, and just kind of what you can focus on now. That's going to be easier on yourself. Okay, it's going to be less tough, and your results are more likely to come. Okay. So I want to hear your thoughts, guys. Of course, this has been pretty fast. These are the three parts. So first of all, you plan, right? You execute, and then you review. And it's pretty simple. It's self-explanatory, of course. But the point is that these things work. Okay. And the other part I forgot to mention with the review, and I kind of mentioned it a little bit, but it's the fact that keep in mind, how are you gonna think? Like for me, I started to do these reviews every week. Okay. And at first, the trades I would look at every week on Sundays were like kind of bad trade, like trade where I did not respect my plan or I did not do things right. Okay. But then like this really felt bad first. But then fast forward a few weeks later, I started to trade, and in the trade, just before taking it, I would ask myself, is this something I want to see in my review next Sunday or not? If the answer was no, I would not take it. I would just put it aside and forget the trade. If the answer was yes, I would take it, of course. And then that allowed me to kind of not miss too many trades, or not miss too many of the good trades, but forget the bad trades that I was not supposed to take. Okay? It's kind of a quick trick, but it really forces yourself to be honest about what you trade, what setup produced results, what setup are not good, and just focus on that. Okay? But that's what you want to review. If you don't review, then you don't put yourself accountable to your trades and to what you're supposed to do. Okay? Someone asked, this is WGM asked, do you do in-person training? Not a lot. I sometimes do when I'm in the same city, but if not, it's kind of hard to do a little bit. This was Philip. What's up, Philip? Daniel asked, do you offer online training? Yes, we do with the academy. We have a bunch of students with that. And by the way, quick reminder, we have a mastermind call tomorrow at, someone can correct me. Alejandro can correct me. I think it's 5 p.m. Eastern time, but I'll just double check. So mastermind call where we answer people's question. We find what they struggle with, what challenges they have, and what success they had in the past month. Okay, because we want to inspire other students, of course. And that's the mastermind call for tomorrow. So pretty excited about that for sure. So we had people from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. That's awesome. Miami. That's cool. Jonathan. Cool. Love that. New Jersey. Yeah. Cool. Cool, guys. I'll stick here for like 1 or 2 questions, but after I have to go. How to trade the news. Gold waxing TV is asking. That's a thing I'm not good at all, because I've never traded the news, and I do not really want to trade the news. I think it works well when you day trade, less well if you swing trade, and I would much rather not trade the news and be trading on my own term. So not a fan of that, but if you want to do it, there are people on YouTube or in other platform able to teach you that for sure. Okay, so you just have to go with that. Couscous, what's up? UK, I love this. That's awesome. Yeah, the Academy, thank you, Alejandro, for the link. I appreciate. And yeah, that's awesome. Cool, guys. Someone's asking, this is Philip, what do you think of the current state of the FX market? Slow or no? Yeah, slow. Yeah, definitely slow. But here's something, and by the way, I didn't mention this first. I mentioned this yesterday. But I've been giving myself a challenge for 2019, which is sending a daily email. Okay, I'm not sure how long it's gonna last, but it's my challenge for like at least a month. See how it goes. I want to just like give you value every day by email. So 1 email per day with a lesson, a experience I have, or thoughts, or just an idea I have. And this morning I've been sending an email about, basically I got this email this morning from my broker. One of my brokers. I have 2 brokers, and one of them sent an email because today is the vote for Brexit. Okay, the vote for the parliament in the UK for the Brexit position, and basically they were saying in the email that there might be increased volatility. Okay, I haven't really looked at the chart so far, but this means that I'm not taking any trades today on JP pairs. Okay, the funny thing is only one broker sends it out of 2, and so that means that will I send it to you? I think it's pretty important to think about, because you don't want to be stuck in a place where your spread is higher and you get stopped out because you enter a trade like this with too big of a spread. Okay, and so that's really important. So I send this email today. You should be careful about this. If you want to get the email tomorrow, just sign up. Link's gonna be below, of course. And that's kind of a challenge for me, because just giving you value every day by email, a lesson, a trick, something that will get you results. Because we need to change this. Like if you're not getting the results you want in 2019, there's a problem because I gave you a lot. You should take a lot, of course, and apply it. But definitely, yeah. Thank you, Alejandro, for the link again in the chat. I appreciate. Yeah, Nigeria, awesome. Someone is asking, can we make a trading desk together? I don't want to be stuck in the same place, so no for now. But maybe in the future I'll think about it. I'm not sure. So that's it for that. Yeah, cool. Yeah, this is pretty important, and I don't know what to think about the fact that only one broker sends that email about the changes in the volatility in GAP pairs, but it's kind of important. I feel okay. So, and you might want to reevaluate what broker you have. Uh, Success Wallace asking what books to recommend. I have an article on my blog about the books I recommend. They're pretty much the same book. Cool. Yeah, so I've a blog post on my website. I'll just get it for you here. Forex trading. Here we go. Forex trading. How has January been for you historically? That's a good question. So I can't really stay for that long. I can stay for like 3 years. I usually start to trade like not in the first week. I start to trade like the week after. So I only have like 3 weeks to trade in January. And so far it's been, some years have been slow, some years have been good. Last year was slow, this year is slow. But I did take a couple of trades so far. So I took more than usual. Especially because I'm using algos now. The trades I take, I kind of take more trades because they happen like at night sometimes, where I can take them manually. But I can take trade with the algo, so that's a good thing. So I've been taking more now, but I would have to see what the result is at the end of the month for that month. And I'll probably do, and guys can comment below or in the chat. Let me know if you want to hear about the results of my EAs, or if you just don't care. But I might do a video every month, share about the results. I'm thinking about it now. I'm not too sure yet, but I could do it. Okay, so if you want to see this, comment below, let me know, and that way I can know that there's an interest and people want to watch this, because I'm here to help you out. Good, and yeah, definitely. Do you want to trade? Do you want to trade the U.S. market options, etc., or do you want to stick with Forex? That's a good question. Trade duck. I'll say I want to stick with Forex. Maybe futures in the future, but basically because of the fact that it's really hard to travel and trade U.S. equities, because like you have to trade in their time frame from 9 to 4 or 5, and that means that you cannot be like, if you're gonna be in Asia, you would have to kind of wake up, or you have to trade at night, right? And if you are in a place on the west coast of the US, you have to like wake up really early to trade. I know a trader that is traveling. It was in Montreal a few months back, but he travels often to Hawaii, and he has to trade. He has to wake up at like 3 a.m. to trade when he goes there. Okay, so not a good thing. I want to be able to trade on my term, my own hours, and that's why I prefer 24 hours market. Okay. Are you into cryptos? No, not at the moment. But I'm looking into it. Okay, based on the couple of crypto traders I had recently on the podcast and in the interviews I did. So I'm looking into it a little bit.